Hey guys, Ben here, or Ben Taylor, should I say. And I'm here to do this review for the New Review crew. I'm going to be looking at Scarlet Couture, numbers 1 through 4, published by Titan Comics, and it is created by Des Taylor. Um, First of all, I want to apologize. Um, this isn't really the format I like to cover stuff in. Um, See, I wasn't given the review copies of the all four until the fourth book had come out, so I'm covering all four of them at once. Hopefully, any reviews from me in future are going to be on a per issue basis. That being said, let's get down to the review of the actual book. Um, the This book is in a very weird place. Because it's one of the creator-owned titles that is published by Titan, which means that it's one person doing everything. It's written, drawn, colored, all by that one person. And Des Taylor does an absolutely fantastic job communicating what he wanted. Um, at the end of the first issue, the very last page, there's I want to say like a column, like a page-long column, where he describes where he got the inspiration for Scarlet Couture from. Um, and he basically wants to do like a James Bond thing with it. And I'm not sure he succeeds, to tell you the truth. But it's still very... Okay, let me... I'm pausing here because I don't know. Scarlet works for... Scarlet is actually her name. Her whole Scarlet Couture is actually her name. She went for the very uh, cool affectation for his main character. Um, Scarlet works for a group called CIG, which is the Covert Investigations Group, or it's referred to as the Clandestine Covert Investigation Group at one point. And there's a larger threat going on. I'm not going to go too much into the details of the actual plot because there's very little outside the actual plot. They try to drop a few bombs on you to do with Scarlet's history and certain reveals and this and that, but they don't fire on all cylinders. Des is clearly a very passionate person. They've nailed what they saw as what their mission statement was. The thing that is absolutely stand out about Scarlet Couture, however, is the art. The fact that this is all done by one person is insanity. It's very, very pretty. The whole book is pretty. You can just flick to random pages and see beautiful art. That's not to say that everything is hugs and puppies with the art. The unique style sometimes it doesn't gel with everything on the page, and it makes certain things really jump out at you. There's the most glaring example I can think of is in issue 2 on page 9 on the very last panel. Maybe I can ask whoever's editing this to flash up that panel now. The way that it's written, drawn, sorry, written. the way that it's drawn, look, the outline of their hair, there's no light source that would do that, especially to the young lady that's sitting down that apparently has a snake of light coming off her head. I don't know, but that very kind of, I don't know, what would you call it? Do you like pop art? I don't know. But it's this very beautiful book. The other thing that had been happening is in issues 1 and 2, at the end of the books, there were these interesting dossiers on each of the characters, which is where you learned most of the stuff about the characters. There's very little character development in the actual book, other than the couple of reveals they try to make about Scarlet. She's pretty much the same person at the beginning of issue 1 as she is at the end of issue 4. And you never learn any personal things about anyone else that appears in any of the book. None of her support crew, none of the other members of CIG. You don't even really get to know the villains that well, because they're, at least a couple of them are incredibly one-dimensional, but he's going for old school Bond villain, so that kind of makes sense, right? Yeah, I really wish the dossiers had continued, because those were really interesting, and it kind of made me understand the world that he was trying to make for Scarlet more. The one thing I can definitely say about Scarlet Couture is, as a 4-issue arc, it definitely has the feel of a movie, right? You have very much your opening coda in the first couple of pages of the first issue, and it has this very deliberate timing that culminates at the end of issue 4 with and it literally says, much like a Bond movie says, James Bond will return in Goldfinger. It literally says Scarlet Couture will return in. So I'm not going to say that I'll be picking up the next arc on my pull list, but it will definitely be something I'd consider picking up in trade after it was all out. That's for sure. At the end of the day, Scarlet Couture was fun if flawed. And that's kind of the best way to sum it up. Pretty, but not perfect. Again, it's just not all hugs and puppies, really. There's a lot going on that could be refined or tuned or tweaked. I'm not sure how the Titan guys do an editing process on the creator-owned stuff. I'll have to look a bit more into that, because especially if I'm going to be covering more Titan stuff, which I am, that's something that I'm definitely going to have to get to grips with. Anyway, time for an arbitrary score, because that's what I do. Looking at the whole, the way it's written, what they're trying to do, the art, I would give a overall score for the 4-issue arc of Scarlet Couture as, I don't know, trade paperback it. There you go. It's worth picking up in trade. if you can find it, for just 4 issues of pure popcorn bubblegum fun. Thanks for joining me, guys, and I will speak to you next time I have a review. Or you might see me on New Release Wednesday, because I know I have an appearance coming up on that. So, thank you very much once again, and I will see you next time.